Opportunity is everywhere. If there is only one phrase you remember from my talk today, remember this: opportunity is everywhere. And when you do believe this, you will be able to find a lot of opportunities. And if there is one action that you remember from my talk today, remember this: I will see the opportunity. And when you are able to see the opportunity, you will be able to seize the opportunity. And when you're able to seize the opportunity, which is the most important part, you'll be able to make the opportunity happen. Today, I will talk about how to find the opportunity, how to see the opportunity, how to seize the opportunity, and how to make the opportunities happen. There are 3 simple steps in making opportunities happen. Number 1, know what you want. Number 2, get one step closer. And number 3, be memorable. Right, I have not introduced myself yet. My name is Rocco Lee, and I would use how to make opportunities happen way of introducing myself. So, number 1, know what I want. I've always wanted to impact people and be remembered. And in the last 14 years, I have been able to help university students land their first job and help them with their career. Get one step closer. I've studied psychology, sociology, as well as a kind of philosophy. It didn't really help, but I've studied that anyway. And the other part is I focused a lot of team sports. My dream job was actually to be a football manager, having 11 people, managing 11 people on the field for one common goal and purpose. That would have been great. Obviously, my life did not turn out as well. But I found other opportunities that made me who I am. So today, I would use a few of my lifetime examples to show you how opportunity is everywhere, how to find the opportunities, and how to make these opportunities happen. The first one would be about my university life. I was not a typical student. The highest GPA in a semester that I've ever gotten was a 2.8. And on average, my GPA was 2.6. So that should have shown a little bit about my academic capabilities. At most, it would be average. And my SAT score was even better. I scored 1,080 over 1,600. And I had to early decision. I had to do many things in order to get into my university. But that's okay, because I found other ways after I got into university to contribute. Being a good student is not just about having good grades, but about how you contribute to the community, to the university. And that's when I joined the tennis team and became the tennis captain. So going back to how I made opportunities happen, number 1, know what I wanted. I wanted to be a good student. I wanted to contribute to the university. Number 2, get one step closer. I knew academic was not my forte, so I ensured that I was always the first one to practice and the last one to leave. And because of this, staying early, arriving early, and staying late, I got to meet a lot more people and created the impact I wanted to create. And number 3, be memorable. Back in my university, people would definitely know me as tennis boy. Now it should be tennis man, but I was part of the tennis team. So when we look at opportunities, what is important is that you can know where you're good at, know the right opportunities to seize. Academic was not the opportunity I needed to pursue. The opportunity to pursue was making an impact via sports. So the next example, I'll talk a little bit more about how I landed my first job, how it's important that opportunity is everywhere, and you can create these opportunities. It started off in 2008. That was when the market wasn't great. And in 2009 summer, I graduated. At first, I had a job in the US as an HR graduate. But due to family reasons, I had to go back to Hong Kong, jobless. I did many interviews, and it was tough. Finally, I got an offer. It was for $3,800 a month. Do you know what the minimum wage in Hong Kong was? It was $8,000. But that's okay. It was the only job. At least I had an income. And then that job was at an executive search firm. It was do two things that I really hate. Number one, to market map by cold calling. I don't like calling strangers, and I don't like it even more when I have to call strangers and get more information out of them. That was not fun. But I had to change my mindset. I had to make this is fun. So I saw the opportunity of making these cold calls and market mapping. I wanted to be an HR. So every time I called a candidate, what did I do? I ensured that if they're not my client, they'll be my candidate. And if they're not my candidate, would they be my boss? So every single time when I had the chance, I kept sending my CV. And it's just like asking girls out back in the days. I kept on getting rejected. But that's okay. After 6 months of doing this, and every day I sent over too many to count. My LinkedIn has too many people now for me to even try to remember. I got my first HR job. I got one step closer. But even after I got my HR job, it wasn't great. I had to do many phone calls, many admin, many operations. Now that wasn't fun. But once again, I had to find what's fun in it. One of the most memorable things I've done in my life was using 100 hours nonstop in the office. I brought a luggage there, and then I didn't have a bed, but I made sure I had some soup. What I had to do was schedule 30 managing directors to go to 4 cities within 6 days. And they were Beijing, Hong Kong, Singapore, and New York. The New York part was definitely hard. And my other part of my job was to schedule over 200 candidates to get to those 4 cities so that these managing directors can interview them. The worst part was I had to follow the managing directors to all these places. Imagining being most of the time on the plane, and when you get off the plane, there were many emails. That wasn't fun. But I found the fun in it. I got to know every single candidate well. I've gotten to know the managing directors well. And these managing directors were my opportunities. I was able to build my network once again. So back to the 3 things about how we make opportunities happen. Number 1, know what I want. I wanted to be in HR. I wanted to have a successful HR career. Number 2, get one step closer. I couldn't find any job when I graduated, so I started with anything. And that anything was able to build upon that so that I got my first real job, my first real HR job. And from there, I continued to build. And afterwards, be memorable. Whenever my boss gave me a task, the first thing I'll let them know is, I think this is fun. It's hard work, might be tedious, might be many things, but it's a learning opportunity. Every single task given is an opportunity to make a first and big and a lasting impression. And going to my next example about how I can once again make opportunities happen. Driving down the line to around 2015, I was hired at my previous firm to build the first rotational program for graduates in the professional services industry, allowing graduates to join our firm and for the first 2 years explore all the roles that is available within the firm. That was a dream job. I remembered I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to be remembered. I was able to help over 2,000 people succeed from their graduate job. And how did we reach this 2,000? Within 3 years, which was definitely very memorable. And it would have taken an opportunity of a lifetime for me to leave that current role. And that came in November 2019. what happened? A executive search firm called me and asked me to talk to another professional service firm. I was like, sure, I'll talk to them, meet more people from my industry, improve my network, etc. The most memorable part about that conversation was the person that was interviewing me made sure I was tipsy before asking me any real questions. And I thought, wow, that was not what I expected. Was that even fun? I don't remember much from it. But I remember one important concept that I told that day, and that was gamification. Gamification in a nutshell is instead of telling you the experience, we will show you the experience. Let you experience the experience so that you actually know what it's like. And he was like, okay, this might work. You have always worked at a top firm. Join us and make us number one in that space. And I was like, all right, this sounds fun. This sounds challenging. I've always had the top firm's brand name under me, and now I come to you guys, hopefully to get the number one spot. But the cherry on top was use your strategy. We will use gamification. And that was the tipping point. This was the absolute challenge and opportunity and fun that I was looking for. And in 2020, January, I've joined my current firm. After 4 years, our engagement is now a game, allowing our business and students to work together for a common goal, and that is to help them with their CPA and Power BI skills. I've changed our selection process. I made it into a game. And in that game, students would experience what it's like to work in audit, tax, and advisory. And our assessors are able to better assess because they're actually doing what auditors do, what tax consultants do, and what advisory does. And I've changed our employer branding campaign to a game show, allowing our leaders to play games of what university students need to endure, about how they need to network with these business folks, about how they need to pass these online tests and online questions, about how to pass interviews, and most importantly, about how to network. And then for these leaders to play these games, and which we are showing to university, we will also allow university students to understand what these leaders are looking for. So after these 4 years, I've gamified a lot of these processes. And when we think about HR, we normally don't think about creating games, having leaders play these games. But that is what is great about opportunities. I knew what I wanted. I wanted to go to my current firm and use gamification as the process. I got one step closer by ensuring that I found the right stakeholder, about finding the right pillars of structure, about finding the right processes. It's not very easy to change processes at a big firm, and it's not easy to find leaders who have been working that way for over my lifetime to change their mind, to see a different way. Takes a lot of ways, takes a lot of opportunity. But it has happened. And because of this, what I would like to say is, throughout my whole career, which started at my university, being a tennis captain, to doing my first job of many logistics, to where I am now, these opportunities build upon opportunities. Opportunities will give you more opportunities. And the most important thing is these opportunities will always be fun. And the definition of fun, as one of my points today, would be to have a challenge. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the success, and the bigger the opportunity. And most importantly, the bigger the reward. So I've started the talk today with my introduction using the how to make opportunities happen. And I will use this to wrap it up. Number one, know what you want. I've always wanted to make an impact and be remembered. And throughout my career, and luckily it's with university students, I've always been able to continuously meet, network, and help them in their career and get one step closer. Every decision I've made, every role change I've done was to help university students start off their career. At the moment, I've used gamification, and then I was lucky enough to look around, and from last year onwards, one of the hottest topics was how do we use AI? And that is something that I've continued to look at and how I want to make an impact in my current role. And finally, be memorable. And with this, I would like to remind you all, opportunity is everywhere. And when you can find the opportunity, when you can see the opportunity, you will be able to seize it, but most importantly, make it happen. So today, from the talk, in my way of being memorable, hopefully when you think of my name, Rocco Lee, you would think of the word opportunity. And this has been fun. Thank you for listening.